Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on this movie. I'm curious. I know that you've worked with Sophia before on The Perfectionist. Was that how this project came about? Was it something that you brought to her, she brought to you, or how did this team up happen?
4 years ago, I was working with her on the pilot for Perfectionists, which was one of her first big dramatic, non-musical roles. And we love collaborating together so much. And I'd never done this before, but we were saying, oh, we want to work together again, which is usually just a hyperbole. But I meant it. And so I just sort of like said it out loud. And I told our producer on Perfectionists, Les Morgenstein, who has an enormous library of books because he develops books, book properties. And I just thought, well, maybe he has something sitting on the shelf, you never know. And I knew that he really thought Sophia was special too. So he 2 weeks later showed up with the script to Purple Hearts. And it was an early draft, so we developed it and worked on it for a while with a writer named Liz Garcia. But that's how it came about. It was Sophia and I just kind of like, put the energy out into the universe. And it was the first time that sort of happened, where then like 4 years later, we were actually making it, and she produced it with me and was very hands-on. She wrote the music with Justin Tranter. She helped me cast it. She was truly a partner, which was exciting.
This is such a powerful story. What aspect of it were you excited to kind of bring to life from the page?
Even when I read the old draft, which was much more like starring Luke, when I first got the project, I knew that deep down the themes of like two characters that were so deeply entrenched in their own worldviews could actually like start to function together and like meet in the middle. It's such an exciting and fresh idea because of what's going on, in current events. And I know that it's pretty optimistic and maybe even a little naive to believe in that, but it's entertainment, and that gives me hope because when I'm reading the news each day, it sometimes feels a little hopeless, so.
Well, I think that when you watch movies, sometimes you don't even pick up on how much you really do take in from something like this. So I'm hoping that, when people watch it and think it's some form of entertainment, that it kind of lingers in the back of their head at some point, and they're like, wait a second, like this is so relevant to right now.
Oh, I hope so too. There was much more of that politically, and like we had to tone it down in the edit a little bit because we wanted to sneak it, and we wanted it to be palatable, not too didactic and preachy. So we ended up, finding the way to sneak it in.
And what was it like putting this cast together? Obviously, we have Sophia. I know you've worked with Chosen before, and then we have Nicholas, who is kind of now becoming this big star, booking a bunch of things that we're seeing a lot more of. But what was it like going through that casting process and then seeing them all together on screen?
With casting Nick, first of all, we were a little concerned because he was British, and it's such a fundamentally slice of Americana kind of role. But he proved us wrong when he started doing his like perfect, like pitch perfect American accent. And he did a lot of studying about the military, and he was very, very determined to get the role. And I also thought initially that he might be a little young and a little too kind, because I was looking for a Luke that had like this brewing rage underneath and like a very, very alpha perspective. But I ended up having a Zoom call with him and talking to him more about the character. And he was just like, oh, so wait, what you're saying is you want me to be a dick? He's like, I can do that. You just have to tell me. So I was like, well, I wasn't going to say it that crass, but yeah, sure. And so we did another chemistry read with Sophia, and boy, it got them really charged up, and he really went in there and started pushing her buttons. And so that to me was like the chemistry I was looking for. And with Chosen, the role of Frankie was initially Sophia Cassie's contemporary. She's nearly 30. And when we were casting, we read a lot of people, but I had been working with Chosen, and we weren't quite finding the right essence for the role, because to me, it's the beating heart of the movie. It's like your conscience and the, belief. And he's all heart. And that's Chosen. So like I was actually working on some ADR and listening to his voice over and over on a previous project. And I'm like, I'm an idiot not to hire him. So I proposed to the producers that we make it be that she was his babysitter. And in a way that worked better, because like, it was like he was almost a child. At first, when we cast him, Netflix was concerned because they felt like he looked a little young. And so they asked him to work out and whatnot. But then funnily enough, when I went and scouted at Camp Pendleton, the young people that we're sending overseas all look like they're straight out of high school. And it's stunning to me. So it turns out like that Chosen fits right in with, the beginning recruit Marines,
Yeah, my nephew just joined the Army fresh out of high school, and I'm like, you're such a baby face. Like it's kind of wild. I mean, I grew up in a military family, the Air Force, not the Marines. So to kind of see that here depicted in here, what kind of research went into that? And was filming, it's not a large kind of, I guess, war scene, but is that something that you've had to have a challenge in? Was it something you've done before? Because you have such a long resume. I feel like you've covered so many kinds of genres of TV and movies, but what was that thing here that maybe you hadn't done before?
I'd get a little typecast in like teen YA stuff. And so people don't realize that I can and do love directing action. But some of my favorite experiences, like in television, were like doing Hawaii Five-0 and MacGyver, where I get to do all these like big stunt sequences. And I really love that energy, that kinetic energy of staging things that aren't even dialogue, and you're creating that conflict on screen and the excitement. So it's something that I've loved doing. And in this instance, to be able to bring like the war to life a little bit, was incredible. We had a great advisor who helped us too.
And like you said, you have done a lot in the YA genre with TikTok and all that coming back. We see people showing appreciations for things like Aquamarine and all that, being like, this stuff made my childhood and stuff. I know you've worked with Sofia twice now. Is there anybody from those old things that you've done that are now thriving? We have Joey King, you have Emma Roberts, all that you wish that you could do another project with now that they are more grown up and they've kind of, come into their own as actors?
Yeah, it's funny because one of my favorite things to do is to cast, and I'm realizing I'm such an idiot because I should have really like started a company and signed everyone like contracts, because like if you think about the people that I've worked with, between Selena Gomez's first movie, Emma Roberts's first movie, Nick Jonas's first movie, Sofia Carson's first movie, like I have a pretty good eye, and now I can't afford or get to any of them. Joey King is another one. I'm like watching her walk, the red carpet next to Brad Pitt, and I'm like, damn it, why didn't I like lock her up in a contract? But no, it's really fun to watch everyone thrive and do so well. I remember when I cast Joey, I met her at 7, and I cast her when she was 8. Like we read her a few times, and I cast her at 8, and then we shot when she was 9. And I think that Selena Gomez was 16. And I remember when I gave her the role, we were together, and I was like, just raise your hand and tell me, like, you're gonna read books, you're gonna get yourself educated, because like this could happen for you now, and I don't want to like look back and feel bad that like I robbed you of your childhood and whatnot. And I'm so proud of what she's done, and she really does make such an effort to better herself and to make really interesting choices and to inspire young girls everywhere. I
was looking back at all the TV you've done too, and I was like, I've seen so many of these shows. I'm always curious, when you come in for just one episode of a show, what goes into that? Because I'm always curious when I watch the show, to me it would just seem seamless, but you have all these different directors coming in. What is that experience like?
It's really a wild experience to just jump in as a director for hire on a TV show. And some don't like doing it because you don't have as much autonomy. But for me, I think it's like a palate cleanser almost. It's like a really exciting experience, because if you pick stuff that you're excited about, Like I watch the entire series several times. I watch it once with the sound off and do frame grabs, see how they're shooting the sets. I really use it as a fun exercise to get inside the headspace of their tone. And like I'm visiting their tone. And I always feel really honored to do that. So I'm always really trying to like honor what they've created and really study it. And so, it's just a terrific exercise, and you put all of your ego to the side and you really just want to like get in there and do the best version of their show for them. But it's an entirely different skill set than directing a movie, entirely different.
I feel like it must be just so fun because of the education. You are learning on the spot when you're going in, taking it to the movies and then taking it back to TV. It must be so fun. I know you have a lot to do today, but last question, what do you hope people take away when they watch Purple Hearts? What is that message you want them to have?
Well, maybe I'm naive, but I am hoping that audiences, and I know cynical critics probably won't, but I'm hoping audiences can buy into the fantasy and like escape for a little while and really take the ride of like these two very different people that are deeply entrenched in their own points of view, that then because of circumstances learn to become more moderate and like listen to each other and compromise and fall in love. So I'm just hoping that people can enjoy that concept because I think we need more of it in the world.